Here we are, hitting up events, drinking our way through Chicago beer, and trying not to miss a thing.
Yeah, because, the cork popped out, it flies like fucking 10 feet. We're like, yeah, let's do it.
All you have to do is add some fruit, stir it up, and ride that milkshake wave.
Whenever I see him, I gotta take a photo with the most decorated brewer in Chicago, Jonathan Cutler.
It'll be like the stuff you hear. You ever go to every time you go to Floyd's, all the music sounds like this. Raw, raw, raw.
Sometimes you want a small beer, but really, you want a big beer.
You gotta take in all those big aromatic hops.
Hey, what are you doing this weekend? Waiting in line for a bottle release?
Should have never been a fad. The black IPA is delicious.
Hey, and welcome to Chicago Beer Pass. I'm Brad Chmielewski.
Brad, what's up, man? I'm Nik White.
And Certified Lager Boys here.
CLB, man. That would be us.
This beer from Solemn Oath is based off the Drake cover.
Yeah.
And it's Santa's, and it's a Dunkel lager, but there's nothing very Christmassy about it, but it's Santa.
Yeah, because what did we have? Winter lager last week from, Maplewood? And
Yeah,
it was just, what was it? It was basically a Maibach or something, right?
Something like that, yeah.
So this is in the vein of that, where it's just like, yeah, we got a lager, and we winterized it by putting Santa all over the can.
Right. I am shocked that the name Certified Lager Boy wasn't taken.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Like, how that album dropped, 8 months ago?
Yeah, probably like a year and a half ago.
Oh, it was even longer than
Right.
that. Okay.
Yeah, because
it wasn't this year?
It wasn't this past summer. It was the summer before that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, I'm behind. So I'm shocked that no one had this. And then, I don't know. I don't know why they didn't make it like a Christmas spiced one if there's Santas on it.
So Brad wants a winter warmer, I think they call that, right?
Yeah, I want a winter warmer.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that,
But
right?
it's a lager if it's for the Lager Boys. Unless they do this series, unless it's a Certified Lager Boys series.
And then, in the spring, there's a dude wearing shorts and maybe got fishing gear on or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then summer, he's full-on surfer or whatever. Mm-hmm. I think that might be the route.
That could
right?
be. And this Dunkel is amazing.
It's really good.
It's great.
It's really good. After a long day, this is exactly where you want to be.
Mm-hmm. Nick, you were noticing on the can that this said it's brewed at Hidden Hands.
Yeah. We interviewed the guys on the show for their 10th anniversary at their Chicago location, the Satellite Tap Room, Still Life they call it. And they mentioned that Hidden Hands is their other brewery, and I think if I remember this correctly, Hidden Hands is a brewery that they created to get beer to bars faster. They didn't want to deal. The Solemn Oath name was tied to a distro to avoid delays with distro. Let's start another company. Let's make different beers. And
we can basically sort of self-distribute them and get them to the places we want faster.
Exactly.
Into your hands, fresh IPAs.
Exactly. Yeah. But this is a Solemn Oath beer, brewed and canned at Hidden Hand.
So we're wondering, are they getting around being this isn't distributed from Solemn Oath because now it was brewed at Hidden Hands? Or what kind of weird loophole is there in the distribution?
Yeah, and then why would you do it that way? I'm wondering if Solemn Oath is, they want to get this beer out, but what is it? Solemn Oath, they have too much beer out already?
I don't know. Or there is a new Solemn Oath brewery opening, and Hidden Hands is taking over the Naperville location.
Oh, actually makes a lot more sense.
This is like they're just getting, I don't know, stuff in the ducks in a row kind of thing.
Yeah. They do talk about world dominance a lot over there, the Solemn Oath guys. So that would make sense if their current space became Hidden Hand, and then they just had a bigger location for the Solemn Oath stuff.
That they could do more things.
Yeah, because I think if they got a hit on their hands with the Still Life location, I think they're looking at other locations. So you need more Solemn Oath beer. Mm-hmm. So the way to get to that is to have a bigger Solemn Oath brewery.
Right.
That makes more sense than this other thing we were
Weird
discussing. Yeah.
legal loophole thing. Yeah.
Solemn Oath's just going to have a bigger brewery. Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so maybe we're breaking news here.
Man, we are on fire this year.
And then on the table, we still got our black lung beers. We forgot to put them in the fridge.
Okay.
I feel like we were a little hard on them last week.
That was fine. I think
But
we
like a lot of their other stuff. I just was thinking about it as I put up the episode.
Yeah. No, I listened to the episode. I thought we were just like, what did we say? Well, we talked about it being a West Coast IPA, but having like an extremely fruit forward hop profile in it.
Right.
You know?
And the cold IPA, we just didn't.
We didn't think. Well, we were confused. We're like, why is it called a cold IPA? And then you've done this thing. It's no different from, like I say all the time. Sometimes I get a, I get a lager from Half Acre and I don't pay attention and it's too hoppy, or I get a brown ale from 18th Street and there's too many hops in it. Mm-hmm. For me, right? Like I'm expecting a certain thing and I get this other thing that happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
So. And then over by Nick, he's got these Bulls 312 cans.
Man, they draw inspiration from the city edition of the Bulls uniforms. Bulls lost to the Knicks last night. Last place Knicks, by the way. What the fuck?
I don't know. It's not looking good out there.
But one of the greatest logos of all time, the Chicago Bulls. They're the only team in the NBA that never changed their logo.
Oh, really?
This is the logo from when they started in '66.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah. So, fantastic looking can. I'm very impressed. Good job by Goose Island. And Goose Island's kind of they're making a lot of sense these days with the sports partnerships. I'm appreciative of them.
And they're trying to remind people that they are part of Chicago. I think that's you have it's a 312, but you have to have that in the core of it. Otherwise, people will drink these other breweries like Solemn Oath or Half Acre or these other ones that have Revolution. They're like, oh, these are Chicago beers. It's like, no, we support this. We're not out there being like, here's the Milwaukee Bucks beer. So.
You're the deer, man. This is brewed at Fulton and Wood. That's nice to see. And this makes so much sense because it's walking distance from the UC, On top of that, it's one of the largest breweries in town. We never really talk about Goose as being one of the largest breweries in town. They got these massive 400-barrel fermenters that sit outside,
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's cool to see. I think it's a great.
And so you can only get these specific cans at the United Center.
For Bulls games. That's what it sounds like.
Okay.
Because this release came out about a month ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what the release said. So
that's cool. It's also kind of strange, but I think it helps everyone. You do this special can at a place, people take pictures with it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's true.
And they look good. They just look clean and simple. They remind me what kind of I loved about the Sox Golden Ale, that it just looked nice when you got it.
Yeah. And then we don't have to worry what beer's in here, right? Because there's a Hawks beer, there was a Sox beer, and we're like, well, is it the exact same beer?
Which is not, I guess. But I never had the Hawks one.
Right, me either. Because the Hawks one is it's a pale.
Right.
And the Sox one was a golden.
Yeah.
And this is 312.
Yeah. Why do you think they didn't do something different? Because it's the Bulls and 312.
I don't know. Bulls play in the same building as the Hawks, right? You could.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Strange.
I don't know. Bulls are. Yeah, I don't know.
But I gotta give it credit to 312 because I've had a couple work events and parties and they've had 312 there. I just drink 312 all night. It's a 4.2% beer.
Yeah.
You're gonna be fine. You'd have to drink a lot of 312.
And let's be honest. This is the reason why they were so attractive to be bought.
Yeah.
Because they were making this 312. 312 kept the lights on over there for a long time. It allowed them to do all this other cool stuff, your Matildas and Sophies and your BCS. But 312 was probably more than 50% of the stuff they made all year. Probably more, So.
I don't know. I feel all right when I drink a 312. I'm just it's you don't have to think about it kind of thing.
American Wheat Ale, man.
Yeah.
America, baby.
So that's what we're got on the table and what we're drinking. We got some fun events we went to this week, and we're going to do, I think, a reel with our 5 favorite Christmas beers. So look for that coming up here. But we got after a little bit this weekend.
Felt good to get out, Brad. I feel like it had been a while, Brad's like, I'm at the thing. I'm like, I can be at the thing. I'll be there in 15 minutes. So then I show up at the thing, and here we are at the thing.
Right, and he's talking Hugs. Big Hugs release day was kind of lackluster. But we were there.
It was called the Big Hugs Bash. Yeah.
There was no. Oh, the bash was that night, and we were there drinking coffee.
We showed up early to the bash. That's why it felt kind of lackluster. Because they say on the calendar, listen, Half Acre opens at 11, and we'll have a holiday mart. You know, Brad likes to refer to it as a yard sale. But we'll have a holiday market at 11, and then at 5, in the same space that the market was, will be the bash.
Right.
Yeah.
And Nick found out that there was going to be prop pouring.
Right. So we ran into El Presidente. He's like, don't tell anyone, but there's going to be prop. I'm like, well, I'm going to see Brad in a half hour, so
Yeah.
I'm going to tell him.
He told me, and I think we told everyone, but the episode was afterwards anyway. So we went there, but we were too early for the prop and the bash.
I think they totally missed the mark on this. We in our grumpy old man state, we talked about this the whole time there, right? So we're at a holiday market. I noticed a few of these faces.
Well, first we got there, I was sitting at the bar. You got a free coffee if you purchased a bag of the dark matter beans that were inside the coffee that was inside Big Hugs.
Yeah,
Hugs is coffee stout.
Hugs is coffee stout.
So I grabbed a bag of beans.
This is good, man. I'm opening another one, man.
Do it.
Feeling great.
And I grabbed a 4-pack of Big Hugs.
Yeah.
No variants this year, just Big Hugs. I also grabbed, the bog beer.
Oh yeah, World of Bog. So it's malt whiskey, barrel aged barley wine.
I think Nick took a picture and he hasn't posted it yet. So.
Well, because we got
a lot of half-acre pictures.
Dude, I'm like, we are half-acred up. I gotta let it breathe, man.
So I'm sitting at the bar, drinking my coffee and my Big Hugs because I was like, well, I got the free coffee. I'll also get a Big Hugs. Let's go back and forth.
And to be fair, I walk in, I see Brad, and it's not a fancy mug, but it's a proper coffee mug, branded. Mm-hmm. And I get excited, and I'm like, well, shit. I don't know what's going on, but I want to drink out of this mug. So I also get a bag of Hugs, and I get the free coffee.
And then you get a shitty mug.
It's the story of my life, man.
We're sitting at the bar for a little bit. I finish my drinks, and then Nick takes his bog. Or you had like a special bog, right?
No, I got bog on nitro. That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
And then we went to the holiday mart to hopefully see if they had other drinks.
Yeah.
Like special stuff back there.
Yeah, we're chilling at the bar. We walk around to the brewery.
Right. The only thing they had was hot beer.
A wassail is what it's called.
And they had Big Hugs hot chocolate. Or they had, I think, maybe it was just hot chocolate. I don't know. Maybe it was coffee hot chocolate. I don't know. It was very confusing.
Like whether it was the beer or was it just the coffee?
Yeah, I forget. There's some sort of hot chocolate thing.
Yeah.
But I didn't want hot chocolate. I got the warm beer.
I was excited for the wassail. And then when you showed me that it came in the disposable paper
Dixie cup,
I'm like, well, wait a second. I don't know.
It's not exciting. They had about, 10 vendors in the back.
Yeah.
And then you could see where the bash was going to be. And it was not bashing.
I think they missed the mark here, man. Nothing says the holidays like it's the season of giving and all that. You show up, you drink a 15% barrel-aged beer, and then you go back and support these local vendors and frivolously buy shit that you don't necessarily need because you've been saucing at 11 a.m.
Right. I bought stuff even not drunk.
Yeah.
I picked up some hot sauce. Mm-hmm. I picked up some vanilla oil.
Yeah, it's like a
vanilla bean oil.
Tincture? No? But it was a substitute for vanilla extract.
Right.
Yeah.
Instead of extract or vanilla bean, it was kind of this thing.
I should have taken a photo of the local all-natural root beer company.
Oh, yeah, those were good.
I thought that was interesting. And then they even had spirits that they preferred that you blended with if you're in the mood for something. Looking back, I should have gotten the tie-dye socks. I have some sneakers that would have went well with those. I didn't think about it till after I left.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah, like Nick said, they missed the mark here. I think they could have, got people a little more loosened up to support these vendors because the vendors would leave by the time the bash started.
Yeah.
And we don't know how the bash went. We don't know if a bunch of people showed up later. It was Saturday, so I'm sure it got busy. It's Half Acre.
Yeah, it was an interesting decision. I'm sure it was thoughtful.
Yeah.
But I don't understand it, honestly. You know.
But then we heard through the grapevine that Revolution was also having a holiday mart.
That's right.
It's like, all right, why not?
You know.
Because the night before was their jean party.
I missed that. Did you go to that?
No, did not.
Okay.
But we got all the benefits plus the holiday market.
Oh, that's right, because the jeans were still on. Peanut butter.
Yeah, I got Eugene when we showed up. I got Eugene with coffee.
See.
So Eugene is usually on the shelves, but I don't usually see any of the variants. Like I feel like his coffee got released at one point. But
Yeah, a PB&J made an appearance in cans at one point.
It did.
But it kind of came and went. Yeah, we were Brad was noticing how wide open the space was at Half Acre, and how, they're definitely under 20 vendors, right? So not a ton of vendors.
Right.
So you could kind of freely walk through this thing and hang out at each station as long as you wanted, that sort of jazz. And Brad's like, man, there should be more people here. More vendors.
More vendors.
And then we go to this other one, and I mean,
It's packed. There are
be careful what you ask for.
There are 3 different hot sauce people. There's 2 or 3 candle people. There's like a couple cutting board people. There's multiple jewelry people.
I would say like
Less
30.
I think there was more art, like stickers and cards at Half Acre, and there was like 1 or 2 of those people at Revolution. It was more crafty than artsy.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know, yeah, that's the right way to say it.
Yeah. Man, it was buzzing at fucking Revolution. I kind of feel like I didn't feel like I was at Revolution. I felt like I walked in on like a semi-private event that the arts people were having.
Sure, yeah.
You know?
It felt like a different crowd there. There was definitely a lot more, families and women at Half Acre than, not Half Acre, at Revolution than we've typically gone for Deep Woods events, and that's a lot of beer nerd guys.
Yeah, versatile space. So it stood out. I mean, I think we were saying if you take away the 2 hot sauce dudes and one of the candle dudes, every vendor's a woman.
Right.
Yeah. So it was something we noticed.
Yeah.
We're just like, well, that's cool. Good for them.
Yeah. And it seemed like a wide variety of things people were drinking. We were looking at the tap list, the variety that Revolution has, and that they don't have any seltzers.
No. I think the closest thing they had to seltzer was you could buy June Shine. Shout out to Bobby the Booch.
Right.
Alumni of the show. You could buy a June Shine, and then the Freedom series, which is kettle sours. I think those are the 2 closest things to seltzers.
Right, but no seltzer. So we're making the prediction that 2023 we're going to see a Revolution seltzer.
If you're Revolution and you got, I don't know, we'll say 30 different options on draft or in cans, and 6 of those options are a June Shine that you bought from someone else, right? We're thinking you're going to go full on seltzer next year. I'm thinking the same.
Maybe a Freedom seltzer pack or something.
Yeah, because this is clearly a draw. Like we talked about the female-centric event, right? They're all there pounding beers and seltzers and whatever else. So there's an audience there for it.
And not to say that they're the ones doing it. I've seen many of videos where just guys at baseball games are just holding their White Claws. Like, there are people want seltzer.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe that came out kind of the wrong way. Like, it's for chicks. That's not.
Seltzer's for everyone. I feel like it's an opportunity that Revolution is missing out on right now. Especially, we're just looking at their large draft list. They have from double, triple barrel age thing all the way to just a Topo Chico kind of like
crazy fucking range. We were off to the side, and it's funny because 2 guys were watching a soccer game, and they're like, "Hey, you want to sit down?" And we're like, "No, we're trying to figure out this draft list."
And they're like, "We'll move because we're watching this."
But we noticed, like, man, the range on options at Revolution is pretty insane when you just really sit up and observe it. I think I got like a 3 or 4 year old variant of VSOJ. That I was a super fan of, man. I guess got that wonderful fucking black walnut ice cream thing that I like, the one they get extended aging on VSOJ. Oh, so that's on one end, and on the other ends are these fucking freedom sours and Juneshines.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everything in between. So.
But I just did the one coffee, and I was tempted to do this porter, or not the porter, the peanut butter thing. But I was like, I got other things I got to do.
I wanted to so bad. Matter of fact,
I think we needed to eat. Like
that was it. I
was like, I gotta go eat. Nick was like, I haven't eaten breakfast. I was like, yeah, we gotta get out of here. Otherwise,
Half Acre started at 11.
Right.
So yeah, so about 2 o'clock rolls around. We're like, yeah.
We're smart enough to see. We're like, don't forget Oktoberfest.
Man, we were full fucking turbo for Oktoberfest.
So we've seen.
We've seen
the light.
We know what's around that corner if we keep going.
So that was a good little back-to-back craft fair. I was gonna go to the sketchbook one on Sunday, and then I felt like I already did 2, and I was like, I don't need any more hot sauce. And I don't need another candle.
What about a $5 sticker?
Right. If there would have been more like posters or screen, I feel like the screen printers, like why weren't they there?
I mean, I might have got a cool T-shirt.
T-shirts, yeah, like
Cool.
there was like
hoodie.
a group. Not that they both were the same craft fair, but I've been to other craft fairs that have a different. It's just kind of probably whoever puts it together has like almost like these are the things that they like at craft fairs.
There's a point person to get all the vendors, and these are their preferences. Yeah,
Right.
Exactly.
That's kind of interesting to know that they're. I guess that they're all different. I always kind of thought they all kind of have the same stuff, but they do have different things in a sense.
Yeah, there's different
But there's always a hot sauce person.
There's a different focus, but there's all. Man, I was so mad because by the time we got to Rev, and I started trying all these hot sauces, man, the dude all the way in the back, and he gives you little chips, and it's not like a small chip. It's just like little pieces of a bigger chip.
He like busted up chip. It's like the bottom of the bag.
Exactly. So you get a little cup with these little chip pieces, and every time I go to put the hot sauce and the chip in my mouth, it would drop on my fucking shirt or on my shoes, and I'm like, God damn it!
I walked away.
I'm like, I gotta go to the bathroom and take my shoe off and rinse it.
Yeah. So that was a good Saturday, but you were talking. You went over to Lagunitas on Friday. It's back. It's open.
Man,
The tunnel. It's here.
fucking Lagunitas, man. Cheers to Lagunitas. We don't. All right, so we don't appreciate how much beer that Goose and Lagunitas make because those are the 2 biggest breweries in town as far as like
Until the
volume.
new Solemn Oath opens.
Until Solemn Oath shows up, with another spot. But I remember hanging out at Goose and with Mike Siegel, and we were talking about Lagunitas, and he's like, dude, you don't understand how much beer they make. They can make 10 times the beer we can make. They got back-to-back 750 barrel systems, right? And they got these massive fermenters, right? Like a whole fucking sea of 1,000 barrel fermenters. It's a ridiculous amount of beer. But they were throwing a Christmas party.
Okay. But this is their first event back since COVID, right?
There's been a lot of rumors about Lagunitas that they would open in fall. And they, that they were coming back, and they posted for a taproom manager and all this stuff. So on occasion, when I'm out south, I would make it a point to drive over there. Or even if I'm bored on a Sunday, because it's right by Pilsen, I would just drive out there and just see if they're open. Okay. So one time I drove and I just saw a flyer in the window with a QR code that said, if you want to come to our party, scan this code.
Oh.
So that's what I did. and then it was 5 days later, I'm at Lagunitas, and I'm like, the lot has cars in it. It never has cars. And I'm like, holy shit, this is a fucking party. I'm going to Lagunitas. So there we go.
All right. I saw the little the spin gift thing on Twitter. That looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the last time I've been there. This was like a holiday party for the employees, it sounds like. Every person I talked to was an employee. They're like, yeah, those are the Heineken dudes, and these dudes are...
But you could just go if you happen to stumble upon it.
If you stumble upon this code, and you know how it's Lagunitas, so if anybody showed up, they would have just let them in.
Oh, okay.
Like, they didn't check if I was on a list or anything.
Oh.
They're just like, all right, the party's upstairs. The door's locked.
Did you have to pay for?
No. It's just, it's Lagunitas. What did they say when they first came to town? They're like, yeah, we make beer, but we're really in the tribe building. This is how Tony McGee would describe it. So you show up. Anybody could have showed up and went to his party, so it was cool. So I go in. All the Lagunitas employees are there. And it's a full-blown party. There's a DJ, and there's, it's dipped in all the Christmas things. But the only things they're offering are cocktails and beers out of cans.
Oh.
So you can tell they're going to open because when you look at the draft list, they have year-round stuff and seasonal stuff, and then they have a list of what they call homegrown releases.
Unless that's left over.
Oh, unless that's how the list looked 3 years ago?
Yeah.
That would be ridiculous, but it's possible. But yeah, so I would assume they're opening based on the list, assuming that those beers are not from 2019. Yeah. But yeah, it was a good time. So
was it upstairs in where the tap room was and the lookout or whatever it's called?
Yeah, that's a good point. So it's the main tap room. Lagunitas, for it to be the biggest brewery ever, has a relatively small tap room.
Yeah.
And then you can walk out on these decks and just kind of give a self-guided tour of the brewery.
Yeah.
So it was upstairs.
Okay.
And I'm glad you brought that up because when you walk in, to get to upstairs, you got to go up like 3 flights of stairs, and then you can overlook a room downstairs.
That's like I've never gone in that room.
Right. So apparently, when they were open and at full tilt, they would be closed Mondays and Tuesdays, and as long as you had your 501c3, they would host fundraisers on Mondays and Tuesdays nonstop.
Okay.
And they do it in that room.
Oh, okay.
So that's the fundraiser room. Yeah. So, but this was in the actual brew house or tap room, I should say.
Okay,
Yeah.
but there was no official word of them
No, all the Lagunitas folks that are like, I would say the Heineken dudes, they were all dressed in like full blown like ugly sweaters and, Christmas suits. But no one really kind of confirmed like, hey, yeah, we're open, or this is when we're opening, or we're this far away from opening, or we're opening at all. Because, they're owned by Heineken now. Mm-hmm. So they might not ever open. They're making Newcastle at this fucking place.
Yeah, you were saying that. And then I don't even remember the last time I had a Newcastle. I'd never seen anyone actually drink a Newcastle.
Correct.
Why are you who's drinking this beer? Someone.
All the shit, all the hotels downtown, right? All the planes, I guess.
Planes are just Heineken.
Really? I mean,
It's either Beck's or Heineken on like these international like Lufthansa flights.
Okay.
There's no Newcastle.
There's got to be an arrangement.
Is Newcastle even in cans? It has to be in cans at this point.
It might not be. It might be brown bottles still. I was in there and I was thinking to myself, when's the last time you just went to the store and on purpose bought Lagunitas, even though they make it here?
It's been a long time. I think with COVID and with them closing, I was just starting to think of them as a Chicago brewery, and then that happened, and it was like, nah, you guys don't exist here.
It's weird, right? Because it's like it's in a section of town. Well, that's where CineSpace is. So I want to say like Chicago Fire and Empire and Chicago PD, all those shows, all that stuff's filmed over there, and they do movies and shit over there, or they did before we moved to Canada. And not Lollapalooza, the one that sucks. Riot Fest.
Oh, Riot Fest.
Riot Fest is like 2 blocks away at Douglas Park.
Douglas Park's right there.
But it's just a very bizarre scene over there. It's not something you think about when you think about Chicago breweries. And none of their cans are specific to Chicago. It says Petaluma and Chicago.
Right.
So they don't go out of their way to be Chicago necessarily. They just kind of happen to be here.
Right. Which we were talking about. Goose Island makes sure we're Chicago.
Right.
And almost Lagunitas still feels California.
Right. There's
every vibe that they give off is like, you're from California, right? Like,
yeah. So I was reminded of that when I was there. I have a lot of fond memories of that place because when we did the brew bus route, we stopped going to Goose, and then we started going to Lagunitas.
Okay.
So it was just always a nostalgic play when I went down there, so. I was excited to be there.
Yeah. I think one reason I don't drink Lagunitas beer is I don't the alcohol kicks your ass. Like they
Yeah.
don't do like a 4% beer,
Right. You know, it's funny. They have
and they're all good, and you're just like, bam, 7% gone.
they told us on the Brew Bus tours, we'll happily do this, but we have to be the first stop, and it's for that reason. Everything's over 7%. And the guys, they have so much steel in that place because all those tanks that they bought the engineers a house across the street. They call it a consulate. They're all Germans, right? They built this
Oh,
brew
that's
house,
right.
and then they hate everything that Lagunitas makes. All they drink is the lager, and the lager is like 6.2.
Right.
To your point,
How
yeah.
did they-
These some big ass
this
beers.
is 5.2. This Dunkel. So
Yeah. So it's interesting space.
I feel like once you cross that 6%, you're just like, I don't know what's gonna happen.
You know, you have 3 of these.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey,
That was a bottle. That was some wine there.
start rolling your sleeves up, you know?
Damn. Okay. So
yeah.
Lagunitas possibly back open in 2023.
Yeah. They talked about doing a rooftop at one point. I hope that happens. And I mean, come on, they got Heineken money now. So they bought Heineken
And they have a kitchen.
and they got a kitchen. Heineken bought half the place, and then like a year later, quietly bought the other half. So they could be doing a lot more than what they're doing. Like we talked about Goose and their community outreach, for lack of a better term, media outreach. You know, making it a point to be a local presence. Lagunitas has an opportunity to do that, and let's hope in 2023 that they do that because they could and they have a cool space. And I'm kind of rooting for them to be more active.
Right. Otherwise, they just become a brewery. They fall to the sideline like a Ballast Point.
Especially here, right? Because this town is crazy with the number of options for like fresh local beer on site.
Yeah.
Yeah, so get your shit together, Lagunitas. Let's party.
Yeah. And they don't talk about this, but they don't do a lot of like new things or seasonal things. Really, it's just like kind of the same stuff all the time. Like there's nothing like a new beer. There's not a 312 Shanty in the summer. There's not a Deepwood series.
Yeah, or if they do it, you just kind of happen to, you casually happen to have it when you're there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just kind of goes under the radar.
There's no hype. There's no excitement. There's no
Yeah,
I don't know, buzz about it. Yeah.
activations. We need
Yeah.
more Lagunitas activations. Basically, go ask Goose Island what they've been doing, and then do that.
Right, but we wanted to talk about is what Goose Island doing working anymore? Like we were seeing that you go to the store right now, most liquor stores or even Costco or just Tony's in general, there's lots of Bourbon County on the shelf. But you can also go to Binny's and other liquor stores and see Deepwoods stacked up too.
Yeah.
But I just think Bourbon County, because it's this new big release that recently happened. It's not kind of an ongoing series.
It's not even a month old yet.
Right. The only, I guess, reasoning I heard from somebody was that Binny's was maybe holding some of theirs back, and it was like people were picking up their allotments, and this whatever you didn't pick up a month later kind of went to the floor.
Yeah. So there was this infusion of a ton of BCS on Benny shelves this week because the time expired on you buying your case or your allotment, whatever the allotment was.
Yeah.
The whole enchilada, if you will, to use a half-acre phrase.
I've seen it a couple times, and I've been tempted to pick one up.
Yeah.
And then I like almost hold myself back because I'm like, I don't know when I'm gonna drink this. I think I have a ton of other Deepwood stuff. I just picked up a 4-pack of Big Hugs. It's also like a 13% stout.
Yeah, and then
10% stout.
And then which one would you get if you saw them all? Which one would you get? You
Right,
know?
I'm gonna probably get Prop, but I actually haven't seen that one. I've seen people say that one.
Yeah,
is out there.
I happened to be out at Benny's and Prop. There was a ton of Prop. The only thing more in quantity than Prop was 30th anniversary.
Really?
Yeah, which was kind of surprising. But I think people, they might have been turned off by the last few years of the special barrels because what was it? I don't think the old Forester from last year, 150 anniversary in the big white tube, it just wasn't that great. But then the toasted barrel one, the darker barrel, the darker tube,
Yeah.
with the what was it, Elijah Craig toasted barrel aged, it was like $54.
Oh shit.
You know?
How much is 30?
It's $39. So it's a $40 play. So, a couple things there. Like, hey, they might be out on it because they had one they didn't like last year. Or they might just be turned off by, okay, it's a barrel-aged stout and it's a $40 pint of beer, essentially.
Yeah.
16.9, let's be fair. But it's a pint of beer for $40.
Yeah, I think I know it's partially our job to like let people know maybe which ones you should look out for and which ones you should get. But if you're not a consumer of beer media in general, you're just going to the store. Any of these beers, like Deepwoods or Goose Island, Bourbon County, you're like, here's 6 of them.
Yeah.
I don't know what to get. I think this is maybe my problem with tequila. Like, I'm not gonna probably ever get into tequila because I don't know where to start. What do I get?
Yeah. Which one's good?
Well, yeah,
There's 1,000 of them. Which
there's
one?
a whole row. I don't know. I guess I give one off like the first or second shelf. I'm not gonna go to the bottom shelf.
I've heard of this one. This bottle looks cool.
Yeah, am I
Which one
buying on the like skull bottle or?
This one's a full-on fucking rifle.
So I think
this one's in a jalapeno pepper.
Yeah, so I think maybe there's a lot of people that have that problem with some of these big, I don't know, more expensive beers. Where you're just like, I don't know which one to get. Why is this one $14 and why is this one $45?
That's true.
It looks like a different color to me.
You know what's funny? And I thought you said the OG was like $15 this year. Yeah. And I'm like, man, that sounds like a lot. But I mean, you were right. And I was kind of surprised by that.
Yeah, I'm sure it gets down to $9.99 here soon.
Yeah,
but
out the gate, they're coming for you. They want the largest brewery on the planet, a multinational corporation.
Yeah.
Wants fucking $50 for a beer, all the way down to $15 for one beer.
Yeah, I love to see the variety. I love to try them with the Deepwoods, the Bourbon County Stouts, the stuff Beguile does.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you're a normal consumer. What do you get when you go there and maybe you like coffee stouts? Are you gonna get the $30 coffee stout? Or are you gonna get the $10 coffee stout?
Yeah, the problem with some of this stuff is that some of these beers are really good. Like we're talking about prices, and the barley wine was $40. I left with the barley wine because we have to do the bear fight between VSOJ and 2 Year Elijah Craig. But yeah, so I mean, I went in and bought it.
Yeah.
So,
but would these places be better off scaling back the number that they do for distribution and do special ones like just for bars and tappings and get people like more excited about them being on draft? Like there's special, the Fernet one goes on. You see that at Goose Island sometimes for parties and things like that. That's never been bottled. I don't know. Is that the better way to go, or is it fine that they sit on the shelf?
Yeah, that's interesting. I
Sure,
bet
that's
after
a problem they think about.
After 2 years in a row, I bet they pull it back and maybe just have it at their locations only, right? And then scale it back, and then maybe make it, just have people experience it more at bars, right? Because I don't think this is working. There's so much noise at stores, and this is something we talked about last week. It probably makes more sense to kind of like address the abundance issue. There's two ways to think about it though, right? Because there's so many beers that you only hear about and never get to drink.
Right.
And here we are, sometimes I complain about those and well, fuck it, they don't exist. I never got to try it, right? I'm the same way. And then here we are, a beer that we can go and you see it in abundance, and then we boo-hoo that it's in abundance. Like we're complaining on both sides.
Yeah. Like I've seen people post like, "Oh my God, that's on the store. I don't live in Chicago. I'll send you money," even though you're not supposed to do that. But they're like, I think more of the beer just needs to leave Chicago. Like it's almost like,
or maybe it's a celebration of like, hey, you deserve to go here and see and have a 3-week window to get this beer, a 4-week window. You deserve that, so that's what we did for you. Because when we first got into beer, like 2010s, right? Ish.
Yeah.
You go to, and it was tradition. You would see Ballast Point sculpin to the ceiling. You would see fucking BCS, stacked pallets high to the roof. And it kind of felt like that when I went to Benny's.
yeah.
Maybe that's by design, right? Maybe they're like, hey, this should be something that you go in and just be able to get freely.
You should be able to get it. It's this good. we want you to be able to get this. We're not. It's not a. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Right?
We're not trying to make this maybe there, and also revolution because you can. We're not just like talking about Bourbon County, but Revolution's on the shelf. But maybe it shouldn't be limited to these like, I don't know, a couple hundred people that can go to this event and buy them.
That's true. Or it could be the other side where just people are just out for whatever reason. They're just out on the category, you know, like what were you saying? Like, hey, some people go into their corner and hey, I just want accessible beer flavored beer. I just want seltzers. Other people are like, hey, fuck beer altogether. I'm just making margaritas. I'm just drinking bourbon. You got a lot, you got people going into their corners too, and it affects how much interest is in this type of beer.
Yeah. I think what was that? I was at a party, and I think we were talking tequila or bourbon, and someone asked like, "Oh, what do you drink?" I'm like, "I drink beer," and like, I think beer almost became like uncool because bourbon and whiskeys got very popular, and now tequilas have gotten very popular, and I think people are like, I don't know, that's just beer. We can get that everywhere. Where when we got into it, it was hard to get craft beer, and now it's everywhere, and people like almost are like, all the beer is good. I don't care about that. Like,
it's interesting, right? Because it's been, 10, 15, 20 years, maybe longer for some people, right? The CBS T-shirt Into the Jeans crew, they've been drinking craft beer for 30 years, right? But they would say like bourbon in the 70s. The reason why bourbon was looked upon like that's what old people drank in the 70s, right? Because people were drinking like martinis. Martini was in vogue, and bourbon started being something that was proof down to like 80 proof in the 70s, and that's because people in the 70s, their parents drank bourbon, and they're like, well, hey, I'm a young adult in the 70s. I don't want to drink what my parents drank. I want to drink something else. Yeah. I wonder if I'm not saying craft beer is that, but I wonder if we're approaching that.
I think we are approaching that where they are craft beer, or even beer in general, is what your dad drinks or your mom drinks. And you're like, I don't want to drink those.
That's true.
What they drink. I don't care about those. I want to chase these other things. There's a history of this. And we're like, oh, there's a history of beer. Yeah.
It's interesting.
All right, Grandpa.
Like these old beer drinking motherfuckers. I mean, I don't know, but maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
But it is, I don't know, you feel bad. And also, like you said, it's great that you can walk into something like Tony's Finer Foods, and there's multiple bourbon counties. Like, they shouldn't even have that there. They barely even have beer there.
That's true.
Like, they have cases of Newcastle.
That's true. Fucking Newcastle. I cannot believe this shit. Fucking Newcastle.
So, like, a place like that shouldn't even really have it, and they do. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Or it's a sign of an issue. One of the two.
Yeah.
This is either really good or really bad.
Interesting. Yeah. We solve nothing.
We just talked ourselves into a fucking loop. This is fucked up. Well, it might not be that bad. Okay, it's somewhere. It's either or.
That's how things work. It is either great or either bad. Damn. All right. Anything else we should talk about, or?
Oh man. I think that's it. I had a little something at Lagunitas, and I had the Maximus 9%. I got going with 9%.
Okay, yeah.
And that's all I drank.
All right, damn. Yeah. All right, let's get out of here. Otherwise, we're going to open another Dunkel. We got some Christmas beers to open or some big hugs. So, Nick, where can people find you? Get in touch. We're not here.
Hey, man, I'm on Twitter at Nicosio.
And I'm on Twitter at BRAD, Chicago Beer Pass. Twitter, Instagram, that's just Half Acres beer feed on our Instagram.
It's the Half Acre Beer Podcast.
And we'll be back next week with another episode. Oh, you should mention that these backpacks we got are coolers.
Shit, yeah. Shout out to the brewery everyone loves to hate, the Notorious Goose Island. We talked about the 312 cans, and these 312. I hope they sell these because we got these 312 backpacks. And it's a spitting image of the can, but then it's really thick and plush, and it's for sure a cooler.
Because I was like, this is weird to have a backpack with a one spot. Like, I'm like...
No pockets.
I was like, this is a nice backpack, but that's a shitty backpack. Like, I can't... What am I throwing everything in here? I'm going to lose it all.
Yeah. This is a backpack-shaped cooler.
Yeah.
It's pretty fantastic.
So this is summertime. This is what you're rocking.
This is very nice. Yeah. So, cheers to them, man. They got this Bulls 312 City thing right, man. This is good.
All right. Take care.
Cheers.